Second half action down on ATI Field. We've been experiencing some technical difficulties here, so apologies, and thanks to everybody who stuck around for sticking with us here. It's 1-0 Robert Morris leading St. Francis with 38 minutes to play in today's CCAC game. The Eagles scored in the 3rd minute of action, and it's been a draw ever since. St. Francis playing one player short after Olivia De La Rosa was chased with a red card late in the first half. So they're down by 1 goal. They're playing 11 against 10, but they've got the ball right now on their offensive side of the field and trying to make a run at it right here with Carly Draheim set to throw it in. Draheim tosses it down into the corner for Kelly Petrowski. Petrowski trying to turn around with it. She's well defended the whole way. Turned towards the outside and knocked out of bounds, poked out from behind by Robert Morris. Another throw in from Draheim. And once again, she finds Petrowski, who this time is able to turn the ball inside, but it's intercepted by Leah Crowder and cleared by Robert Morris. Saints battling to take the ball back. It's Camille Papalera to the outside and Casey Harris. Harris rolls it through into the box, but knocked away by the Eagles defense. Still in bounds as Brittany Cook steps up along the sideline. Cook working her way forward into Carly Draheim. Now Petrowski towards the middle of the field. Knocked away from her by Maria Campos. Maria Barham is able to avoid the tackle attempt, and here comes Barham leading the Eagles charge. Ahead to Whitaker. Whitaker towards the outside. This is Kramer. Kramer shoots well wide and out of bounds. It'll be a goal kick for the Fighting Saints. Now again, Robert Morris got on the board in the first couple of minutes. It took them just 2 minutes and 33 seconds to get a goal. It was Sam Sparks who scored her team-leading 7th of the year. And not a lot of offensive action ever since. Robert Morris looking to double their lead here with Demi Whitaker knocking it ahead to Maria Barham in the box. Well defended by Grace McDermott. She clears to Casey Harris. And Harris able to get it out of harm's way for the Saints. Kelly Petrowski on the run, trying to track that ball down. Jacqueline Montillon gets in the way, and Montillon knocks it down the sideline and out of bounds. The Saints will get a throw in here. Harris on the far side with just under 35.5 minutes to play in the game. The ball rolls towards the back line. Martina Katurba gives it a chase, but it's out of her range and out of bounds. 1-0 Robert Morris. They've outshot St. Francis 14-8. Of those shots, four of the 14 have been on goal for Robert Morris, with Bethany Domkowski making 3 saves. Only one of St. Francis's 8 shots have been on goal. So they've been able to keep the pressure on, but just haven't gotten any really good looks. See if they can turn that around here in the second half. Grace McDermott ahead to Carly Draheim. Draheim taps it over to Casey Harris. Harris down across midfield, but out of bounds. The wind has not slowed down much. It was blowing in the face of the St. Francis strikers in the first half, and now it's blowing at their backs. And the wind has certainly had an effect on this game. I don't think it's dramatically favored either team. You can certainly see any balls kicked in Robert Morris's direction right now dying a little bit, and anything that St. Francis kicks, the direction that Robert Morris was going in the first half, and now the Saints going this direction in the second half, has a little extra juice on it. Out of bounds, it'll be a St. Francis throw-in. Grace McDermott steps up to throw it in. Into Martina Katurba. And now Harris down the middle of the field, intercepted by Robert Morris. Ava Eggert boots it towards the sideline and out of bounds. Saints were shut out in the first half. They've been shut out in the first half now of 5 consecutive games. In fact, coming into today, they've been shut out in regulation time in 4 consecutive games. They do have 1 goal during that time period, and it was a game winner last Saturday against Judson, an overtime 1-0 victory. That's the only goal they've scored in the last 4 contests. So they're trying to get the offense going again today. They'll need at least one to tie, and this is a big game to try to get a win in for sure, but a tie would go a long way as well as they look to secure a spot in the CCAC tournament 2 weeks from now. Back on the Robert Morris defensive end, it's Martina Katurba heading it back in that direction. Taylor Ulrey shadowing that ball down into the hands of the goalkeeper, Adrian Giglio. 3 games left, including today. 2 wins, you figure, would get St. Francis in for sure to that CCAC tournament. That doesn't mean they necessarily need 2 wins to get in, but anything less than that, and they'll be asking for a little bit of help as well. If they can get 2 wins in those 3 games, they know they'll be controlling their own destinies. That ball rolled in front of the net. Domkowski dives, but can't make the stop. It's a beautiful goal for Emma Kramer off a perfect pass from the outside. Valiant effort by Domkowski to stop that ball on the dive, but a perfect ball into Kramer. She was right in front of the net and just poked it in. It's 2-0 Robert Morris. So it was going to be tough for St. Francis before anyway, and now a little bit tougher as they'll need at least 3 goals to get a win in this one. For Emma Kramer, that's the 3rd goal of the year. She's appeared in all 16 games despite making only 4 starts this year. She came in off the bench late in the first half today. There's a shot off the sidebar. Great effort by Casey Harris, but just missed it. And off towards the sideline, St. Francis will throw it in again. This is Alonso in front of the net. Alonso tapped back to Carly Draheim. Draheim stumbles a little bit, can't pull that ball in. Off towards the sideline. Harris will throw it in again. 31.5 minutes remaining on the clock. Saints in hurry-up mode to some extent now. Still a lot of time, but there's a lot of offense they still need to pull in. Draheim shoots from the outside, deflected back by the defense, and cleared by Taylor Ulrey. Picked up by the goalkeeper, Adrian Giglio, as that ball bounds down into the box, and Giglio will punt it away. Across midfield, this is Kiki Estrada. Estrada gives it a good kick, and Kelly Petrowski on the run now. Petrowski will not get there before Giglio does. A little bit of a collision late on the play. Soft contact between Petrowski and Giglio. Nice effort by Kelly Petrowski there, who really made a good run for it. She was out in front of the defense. But Giglio stepped up from the goalkeeper spot. The only one who really could have stopped that ball for Robert Morris, and she did make the play. Here's Barham making a run. Rolling it to the right side, and Leah Crowder. Now another shot for Kramer, and this time Domkowski falls on top of it. Kramer had 2 goals this year coming into play today. She scored one just a few moments ago and tried to pick up number 2 right there. But Domkowski makes the nice save. Here's Lauren Campbell for Robert Morris, rolling it off to midfield. Casey Harris on the defense. Harris unable to take that ball away. Robert Morris works it downfield. Kramer. And off the chest of Kramer and out of bounds. It was actually Demi Whitaker. Kramer hit it to Whitaker, and Whitaker knocked it off her chest out. Headed by Campos. Back to Casey Harris. Harris pushes it into Robert Morris territory again. Just clearance by Jacqueline Montion. Whitaker working her way to the left side, and Campos. Campos rolls it back to the middle of the field, and Whitaker, and nicely defended by Carly Draheim. Crowder tripped up by Kiki Estrada. The whistle blows, and a foul is called against Kiki Estrada. Leah Crowder will earn her team a free kick. Campbell has the ball set up. Lauren Campbell, senior from Rockford, ready to take the free kick here. Probably out of scoring range on the kick. She'll try to send it towards one of her teammates. Into the box. Airmails everybody. Kiki Estrada heads it in the box and a whistle blows. Foul is called against Robert Morris. That was not on the ball. That's not where the foul was called. There was a shove. Brittany Cook was on the ground, so I imagine she was shoved a little bit away from the ball, and that's where the foul came in. And now St. Francis gets the free kick from the goalie's area. We'll stop the clock for a moment. 27:55, and now we're ready to go again. Petrowski to the outside, intercepted. Montion working the other way, but Casey Harris steps in. Here's Alejandra Alonso, and Alonso is whistled, so we'll go the other way. 27:20 on the clock here. St. Francis trails by 2. Robert Morris has enjoyed the lead pretty much the whole way. They got their first goal in the 3rd minute and have not looked back. Kelly Petrowski to Carly Draheim. And Draheim's kick is intercepted by Montion, who boots it downfield to Kramer. And the Kramer works it back, and now ahead, it's Campbell. Campos at midfield. Robert Morris playing a ball control game right now, passing it around, staying near midfield, just holding on to the ball for the moment. Now Kramer deep down the right side. She's offsides. Last time these two teams met, September of last year. Fighting Saints pulled off a big upset victory. They defeated Robert Morris at this stadium last September 24th. Came away with a 1-goal victory over a Robert Morris team that at the time was ranked number 24 in the country. It was the Saints' first win over a ranked team in a long while, and one of the bigger wins they had all of last year. Different story this time around. Robert Morris had a lot of players graduate after last year, and St. Francis had a lot of players graduate as well. So it's two very different teams playing out here today. In the case of St. Francis, a very young team. A lot of freshmen out there. We've seen Olivia De La Rosa, of course, get the red card, but the starting forward is a freshman as the Saints get the ball on the throw and into the box, but it's cleared by Robert Morris. Brittany Cook, just a sophomore. Martina Katurba is a freshman. Kelly Petrowski, who's been out there for much of the game today, is a freshman. So a lot of new faces and a lot of very young players for St. Francis. Grace McDermott, another starter who is just a sophomore. Robert Morris has a couple of big-time newcomers as well. Sam Sparks, freshman from Rochester, Ohio, scored the first goal of the game. And Maria Barham, who hasn't had a huge game today, but has been involved a little bit as Kramer takes a shot, deflected by the foot of Camille Papalera, and the ball will bound harmlessly into the hands of Bethany Domkowski. She'll get to clear it from the goalkeeper's position for the Fighting Saints. Big punt all the way across midfield. Off the foot of Montion, who chases it down. Keeps it in bounds for now. Alejandra Alonso right behind her. Montion working down into the corner, trying to control this ball against a couple of Saints. And Petrowski knocks it away. Montion comes away with the ball, though. Alonso is knocked to the ground, wanted a call, didn't get it. And it's knocked out of bounds by Robert Morris. Well, Maria Barham, who does have 4 goals this year, transfer from Oakton Community College, so a couple of big newcomers for Robert Morris leading the charge, not only today, but over the course of this season. Carly Draheim gets a little bit of a rest for St. Francis. They'll need her down the stretch. She'll sit for a little bit right now. This is Barham on the far side. Barham off to Campbell. Campbell's pass deflected by Kiki Estrada over to Kelly Petrowski, and Petrowski clears it going the other way. Out of bounds off of Robert Morris. Saints get a throw in. Ulrey rolls it off to Casey Harris. Harris into the box, but going the other way. Grace McDermott far side up from the defense. Pushes it into the box, and it'll bounce a couple of times and roll out for a goal kick. 23 minutes on the clock, and we've got a Robert Morris substitution as Reina Ortega, junior from Beloit, Wisconsin, comes in for the first time all night. Coming out is Stephanie Cetera, sophomore defender who's had a very nice game. Here's Brenda Estrada. Knocked away from her from behind, but Estrada was knocked down as well, so a foul is called, and the Saints get a free chance. Sun has set behind us. They're playing entirely under the artificial lights now. Here at Joliet Memorial Stadium, into the box. Off the leg of Kelly Petrowski and just barely wide of the net and out of bounds. It was headed by Jacqueline Montione. I believe she was the one who got her head on it and just deflected it slightly, but an unfortunate break for Robert Morris because it rolled right to Kelly Petrowski, who didn't have a ton of time to react, got her leg on it, but knocked it just wide and out of bounds. Detsy Ravelis back in for Robert Morris. Headed in the Eagles' direction. This is Barham. Maria Barham rolls it to midfield, where Brenda Estrada stops it. Alejandra Alonso knocked forward, looking for Petrowski. Petrowski chasing it towards the side, and out of her reach. Here's Petrowski once again. Petrowski taps it back to Brittany Cook. Rolled towards the middle, and Brenda Estrada. Estrada is intercepted by Detsy Reveles. Here's Camille Papalera for the Fighting Saints across midfield. Nearly intercepted. It is now taken away by the Robert Morris Eagles. Saints got it right back. Martina Caturba. Here's Papalera. Off to Casey Harris. Harris sizes it up, sends it away down the middle of the field, deflected. This is Petrowski over to Brenda Estrada. Estrada turns and takes the shot wide to the right. Out of bounds from Brenda Estrada. Goal kick coming out for Robert Morris. If you missed it earlier, the Saints are down one player, Olivia De La Rosa, their leading goal scorer this season. She's got 5 of them. It's knocked out of the game on a red card back in the 39th minute. Saints trailed 1-0 at the time. Robert Morris has added to their lead with 1 goal in the second half. That one came from Emma Kramer, her 3rd of the season. Sam Sparks' 7th goal of the year early in the first half is what started the scoring off here. Under 20 minutes to play in the game. Grace McDermott trying to sky for that ball, but Jacqueline Montione comes away with it for Robert Morris and gets it out of trouble. Here's McDermott again for the Fighting Saints. McDermott down into the box. Petrowski is out in front of the defense. There's a shot wide from Kelly Petrowski. Beautiful ball into Kelly Petrowski. A nice opportunity, but it is out of bounds. It'll be a corner kick for the Fighting Saints. Ball is set up by Casey Harris. Carly Draheim takes a lot of the corner kicks for St. Francis. She's on the bench at the moment. Harris into the front post, headed up into the air and over the net. And that was Petrowski as well on that one. So it's out of bounds. Goal kick coming up for the Robert Morris University Eagles, a team that got off to a tough start this year but is playing some very good soccer of late. Picked up a big win over St. Ambrose their last time out, the first conference loss of the season for the Bees of St. Ambrose, a team that Fighting Saints will see a week from today on the road. Far sideline, or near sideline rather, and out of bounds. It'll be a throw in for the Saints, but not before a substitution. Carly Draheim is in, and Brittany Cook is out. Petrowski muscled off that ball, but Casey Harris tracks it down from the back end. Here comes Grace McDermott. McDermott trying to get it to Petrowski in the box, but Montione steps in and knocks it away. Here's Campos. Tapped back to Ulrey, and Ulrey kicks it downfield. Down on the far sideline, it's Robert Morris making their move. Campos rolls it to the outside, and Reina Ortega. Ortega's pass intercepted by Brenda Estrada. And now Martina Caturba working to take that ball away from Barham, but some nice moves by Barham, keeps it alive, rolls it between the legs of Carly Draheim and off to Campbell, and now Barham takes a shot. It's a weak one to the outside and an easy stop for Bethany Demkowski, well wide of the net. She'll punt it downfield. Petrowski knocks it off for Estrada. Brenda Estrada down the way to Alejandra Alonso, but it's cleared. Good play by Detsy Reveles to kick it out of the reach of any St. Francis attackers down into the box, where it's picked up by Demkowski. Robert Morris trying to take possession again right here. Emma Kramer heads it towards the middle of the field and back the other way by Brenda Estrada. Carly Draheim towards Martina Caturba, knocked away by the team in maroon, and this is Campbell knocking it out of bounds. Just under 16 and a half minutes to play in the game. And a whistle blows. We've got a St. Francis free kick here from along the sideline. Kiki Estrada takes the kick into the box, headed up into the air. Kelly Petrowski, the first one to reach it once it comes down. Petrowski trying to control the offense here to Brenda Estrada. Estrada working her way back and now kicking it off towards the right side. Casey Harris out of her reach. Reina Ortega clears. Across midfield and along the far sideline. Long run for Maria Barham, and she'll track it down. Barham making the run. There's the cross, and there's an interception. Casey Harris pushes it down. Montione along the near side. Hooks up with Reveles. Reveles' ball goes down into the box, and Grace McDermott will kick it out of bounds. Bethany Demkowski was going to step up and scoop that ball up, but Gracie Metcalf was in on it for Robert Morris, and Grace McDermott recognized she didn't have all that much time. Had to knock that ball away from Gracie Metcalf, and as a result, she pushed it to the far sideline and out of bounds. Leah Crowder back in after a short breather, and Maria Barham gets to take a seat. After a productive game for her, she's got an assist and has played well throughout. Down in the corner, it's Grace McDermott working against Detsy Reveles, and Reveles is the last one to touch that ball before going out of bounds. McDermott gets to throw it in to Martina Caturba, and knocked right back out. Robert Morris gets to throw it in. Up into the air in front of the net, and a shot is saved by Bethany Demkowski. Shot came from Leah Crowder. Saints get it out of there. Petrowski heads it in the air. Carly Draheim tapped off to the right side, and Casey Harris. Turba trying to run that ball down. Reina Ortega pushes it the other direction, but Casey Harris on the receiving end of that. And there's Grace McDermott with a big kick down to Alejandra Alonso. At midfield, it's Katurba. Off to Harris. Harris looking for Petrowski. Jumping in front of that ball is Jacqueline Montione. And it'll go out of bounds. Fighting Saints get to keep possession with 13 minutes to play in the game. Down by 2 goals. Here's Harris with the cross. And cleared by Robert Morris. Emma Kramer working quickly, going the other way. Rolling it to the outside. Papalera trying to jump into that ball. Gracie Metcalf gets there first. Metcalf still in control of it. She taps it off to Campbell. Nice work by Gracie Metcalf. Kramer back to Metcalf, and now a shot from long range. I'm not sure if Estrada deflected that one at all, but either way, it works its way slowly into the hands of Bethany Domkowski, who punts that ball away.
Go 28.
Campbell down to the left side. A shot deflected by McDermott. Right back to Robert Morris and deflected again. Revelis tried to let loose 2 of them, and both times McDermott got in the way. And here come the Saints on the counterattack. That ball out a little bit too far in front of Katurba, and Giglio will let it roll out of bounds for a goal kick. Game 2 of what essentially amounts to a triple header here at Joliet Memorial Stadium today. Fighting Saints football won earlier today against Olivet Nazarene, and now a soccer doubleheader against Robert Morris. The men's game is coming up about a half hour after this one concludes. Should be right around 7:30 that game commences, and that should be a good one, just as this has been a defensive battle between St. Francis and Robert Morris. So far, Robert Morris getting the best of the Saints with a 2-0 lead as Giglio lets that ball die, and she'll pick it up. Saints have been able to let loose 13 shots, which is not a bad number at all, but they just haven't been able to put them on goals. They've created opportunities, just not a lot of great opportunities, and it's tough against a very good Robert Morris defense who came into today having allowed only 19 goals in 15 games. One of the better defenses in the conference. Not quite as good as St. Francis, who had only allowed 16 goals in 15 games coming in. But the Saints offense is just struggling to the point right now where they've got to work very hard on the defensive side just to stay in the game. They're still in this one, but it's getting late with only 10.5 minutes left. They need 2 goals just to force overtime. Kiki Estrada knocks it out of bounds. Robert Morris will get to throw it in. There's a tussle between Kiki Estrada and Detsy Revelis. And Kiki Estrada is going to get a yellow card. She doesn't like the call. She's the one who ended up on the ground at the end of that play. As Estrada and Revelis were going back and forth on that one, and in the end it was Revelis who shoved Estrada to the ground. But according to Jaime Guzman, today's official, it was Estrada who initiated the contact that ended up with her being forced to the ground, and so she gets the yellow card. Second booking against St. Francis today after Olivia De La Rosa picked up the red card earlier, and this one comes with just 9:55 to play in the game. So it's a free kick for Robert Morris, and Lauren Campbell will do the honors here as the Eagles try to put this one away with their 3rd goal. Into the box and headed away. Hit into the air. In the box once again, Leah Crowder chasing it, and now a shot goes a little bit wide from Emma Kramer. It was Crowder who got to that one first, but with the defense bearing down on her, Kramer came in from the backside and had a pretty good chance at scoring a goal right there, but she sent it wide to the left and out of bounds for a goal kick. Abby Vandergriff back in. Robert Morris and Betsy Revelis will take a seat, presumably for the last 9 minutes of the game. Ava Eggert into the box. It's headed away. Here's Campos working around Katurba. Maria Campos rolls it ahead and intercepted by Kiki Estrada. Now here comes Carly Draheim. Petrowski to the outside and Kiki Estrada. Petrowski again, back to Carly Draheim and over to Casey Harris. Over to Petrowski, you can't quite reel it in, it's out of bounds. And a Robert Morris throw-in is coming up. I've said it before, St. Francis, 2 games left after this one. Needing to figure at least 1 victory, or maybe a couple of ties, to get into the CCAC tournament. They'll play St. Ambrose, who's right at the top of the conference, and Holy Cross, who is right at the bottom of the conference, so interesting pair of games still to come. St. Ambrose has just 1 loss in conference play this year, which is tied with Trinity International, and Olivet Nazarene entering play today for the best mark in the conference, in the loss column anyway. Holy Cross, one of 2 winless teams in the conference, along with Calumet St. Joseph, entering play today. There's Giglio stepping up and making the stop there. The final home game of the regular season is coming up later this week against Holy Cross. It'll be on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. Then the final game of the season would be next Saturday. In fact, it will be next Saturday at St. Ambrose. Saints trying to attack here as Casey Harris has the ball. Harris sends it down towards Kelly Petrowski. Off to her left, Petrowski will track it into the corner and won't quite reach it as it goes out the sideline. 7 minutes to play in the game. It's a throw-in for the Robert Morris Eagles. Petrowski into the air towards Katurba, knocked backwards to Casey Harris. Harris takes a shot from long range and Giglio makes the stop. Powerful shot there from Casey Harris from pretty deep. But Giglio is on top of it the entire way. Kramer turns it upfield and Brenda Estrada intercepts. There's Estrada down the sideline trying to hook up with Alejandra Alonso. Too strong for her. It'll go out the back line for a goal kick. The senior, Adrian Giglio's had a nice night in net. She gives it a kick downfield. Emma Kramer pushes it ahead and gets it right back. Kramer working along the sideline, stepping up from the defense. It's Ava Eggert knocking it out of bounds. Saints get a throw in here from Kiki Estrada. Casey Harris off to Petrowski. Petrowski's kick is headed towards the middle of the field by Lauren Campbell. Martina Katurba battling for that ball, and she's able to get it off to the right side, and Grace McDermott. McDermott kicks it downfield, and it'll roll into no man's land. Tracked down there by the keeper. Giglio stops it, and she'll kill a little bit of time. Robert Morris now just over 5 minutes away from a victory, so they are in no hurry with this 2-goal lead. Entering play today, 4 consecutive home games for St. Francis have gone into overtime. I don't think they came into play today necessarily wanting to extend that streak, but they certainly do now, because it would mean that they've scored 2 goals over the final 5 minutes. Last time they lost a game in regulation here at home, you have to go all the way back to September 8th, 2-0 non-conference defeat against Davenport. Harris sets it up, now sends it deep for Carly Draheim, headed away. On the sideline, it's Kiki Estrada picking it up to throw it back in. Estrada's toss is intercepted by Montion, who kick is deflected back by Carly Draheim. Here's Alonso working down the sideline. Montion pokes it away from her out of bounds. Another throw-in coming up for the Fighting Saints. Here's Draheim inbounding to Katurba. And now Petrowski taps it back to Harris. Her shot deflected on defense. That was either Ulrich or Crowder. Both were in on the play. And one of them was able to actually deflect it away. Nice defense by the Eagles. Robert Morris making a move downfield. A good individual run right there from Abby Vandergriff, who rolled it back to the middle, had it deflected away and out of bounds. A throw in for the Robert Morris team. 3.5 minutes to go. So once again, Robert Morris in absolutely no hurry here. Anytime they've got a chance to control the clock, they're ticking seconds off anywhere they can. There's a ball into the box. Domkowski watches it sail wide, and she watches as Carly Draheim sends it the other way. Kelly Petrowski working against Ava Eggert. Eggert trying to get Petrowski off that ball. She does, and it goes out of bounds. But more seconds tick off as Petrowski scoops it up and throws it back in. And there's a whistle. Free kick for the Fighting Saints. They've got to retrieve a ball first, as that one was kicked far away. They'll get a new one from the sideline. Kiki Estrada sets it up for the free kick. Estrada into the box, up in the air, headed away by the Robert Morris defense. Draheim from the outside turns and shoots, deflected off to the side. Cleared by Robert Morris, but controlled off the chest of Kiki Estrada. Estrada again sends it into the box. Katurba on the run, but she won't get there. Giglio picks it up instead. Robert Morris trying to clear just a couple of more times and walk out of here with a big victory. It would be their second big win in a row. Carly Draheim battles for that ball, but forces Leah Crowder down to the turf in the process. And the foul is called against St. Francis. And again, Robert Morris can take their sweet time as they set this one up for the free kick. Deep downfield, Estrada jumps in front of that ball, but can't control it away from Emma Kramer. And now it's loose on the sideline. Kiki Estrada tries to turn it upfield, shouldered away from the ball by Kramer, and the foul is called against Kramer. Estrada working quickly. The referee stops the action. Ball was not set. He needs her to slow it down a little bit more. And now Estrada, who is trying to work quickly, is going to end up losing about 20 seconds before she finally can get this kick off. We're in the final minute. Harris heads that one in the air. Petrowski battling against Crowder. Crowder forces it off the sideline, but it stays in bounds. Alejandra Alonso cannot keep it in bounds. It'll be a St. Francis throw-in. Rather, a Robert Morris throw-in. So now with just 32 seconds left, the Saints just trying to get a goal here and snap the string of shutouts. Petrowski whistled for the shove in the back, and Robert Morris will get a free kick. They can boot it downfield and pretty much just let the clock run out here. Less than 20 seconds to play in the game. And this does look like this is how it'll end, as the Saints are going to suffer their 5th loss in their last 6 games. Final 10 seconds. Brenda Estrada knocks it up into the air, and Robert Morris will just let it fall. That's the game. 2-0 our final. The Robert Morris Eagles come to Joliet and knock off the host St. Francis Fighting Saints by a final score of 2-0. And a disappointing result for St. Francis today, but a tough one. They were without their best forward, their leading scorer on the season, Olivia De La Rosa, who has 5 goals this year. She was ejected late in the first half, so they didn't have hers. They were trying to play from behind. I wouldn't call it a fluke goal in the first half that put Robert Morris in front, but something you don't see very often, and it was just off a rebound. Bethany Domkowski tried to fall on the ball and wasn't quite able to smother it, and Sam Sparks was left with the ball rolling out right in front of her, and she had a clear look at the net, and it's just a tough play for St. Francis that saw them go down 1-0. And at that point, after they lost De La Rosa, it just became a little bit too much to deal with. Robert Morris was able to get one more goal in the second half to put this thing away, but the Saints do drop their 5th game in their last 6, and as the defense has continued to play very strong soccer, they just haven't quite had the offense with that young attack they've got with the freshman Olivia De La Rosa up front, along with Alejandra Alonso, junior from Hoffman Estates, and another freshman, Kelly Petrowski, doing the primary attacking for the Fighting Saints. They are shut out today by a final of 2-0. Again, it's the 5th loss in the last 6 games for the Fighting Saints, which drops their record to 500 at 7-7-2. They fall 2 games below 500 in conference now at 3-5-1. Robert Morris picks up their 6th win of the year to 8 losses and 2 ties. The Eagles improve to 5-3-1 in conference play. Take a look at some of the final stats from today's game. Robert Morris, 22 shots to St. Francis's 6. Of the 22 Robert Morris shots, 8 of them were on goal. They scored twice, and of course, Demkowski made 6 saves. St. Francis, of their 16 shots, 2 of them were on goal. 10 fouls called against Robert Morris, 7 against St. Francis, and of course, the 2 bookings went against St. Francis as well. The caution that came late in the game against Kiki Estrada, and the ejection to Olivia De La Rosa back late in the first half. So the Saints will remain at 10 points in conference right now. They'll look for Roosevelt and Judson to falter down the stretch as they try to get going against Holy Cross on Tuesday, and then St. Ambrose next Saturday. Looking for a little extra offense. This is now the 5th consecutive game in which they have been shut out in regulation. They've got just 1 goal in those last 5 games. The defense has been good enough that they get just a little bit more from their offense. They can be a team that will be tough to reckon with in the conference tournament. The key is just getting there first, and they'll have 2 more opportunities to sew up that spot. Today they fall to Robert Morris by a final score of 2-0, and that's going to do it for tonight's contest. Of course, the men's game is still to come, so make sure you tune back in about a half hour. It'll be St. Francis against Robert Morris men's soccer. Our next women's soccer broadcast coming up on Tuesday, 7 o'clock start time against Holy Cross. Until then, this is Terry Bonadonna signing off for now. Enjoy the rest of the night.